Hey guys, I realize that I've been giving advice to you guys about exercising without showing how to do it properly. So today we're going to go over some moves that might help you, especially if you're a fellow ostomate. So first off, this is a pudendal / ilioinguinal cushioned seat, and they are something that you can just get on Amazon for about like 20 bucks, and I have a bunch of them. They are so worth it. It's great for the tailbone. Alright, so now that we're over that, typically I use chairs where I have arms so that I can get up and I don't have to worry about it. This I can get up from because I've built up the muscle to do so. And in order to do that, it had to start very, very, very slowly. I was in a wheelchair. So, first off, I'm going to go over what this is. It covers my colostomy. So, any type of a bag for an ileostomy or colostomy, there are wonderful people out there. There are also things on the internet that will teach you how to sew these. And it will cover up your bag. And you won't be so ashamed about it. So that is just, that's beautiful. I'm so grateful for people that do that. When I was in a wheelchair and after every surgery, I've had to get used to, and I would have to include basic days too when I'm just too cold. I wish I could flip my camera around. It doesn't allow it, so this is what I'm going to show you. My feet. Simple movements. Back and forth. Up and down. You are just wanting to get everything moving around. It is extremely difficult some days, and what you're going to want to use are the muscles on the side of your legs. So what I was using was my hamstrings, which is on the inside of my legs, and it absolutely was destroying my gut. It was making it very, very hard in order for me to move. So just getting those legs going, moving back and forth. You need to do repetitions of 10 or 15 if you need to. Getting the legs stretched out, but you don't want to go to your EDS position where you can stretch out more than the 0 degree. Try and keep everything as straight as possible. I'm sorry that the footage isn't very clear on that. So the next thing that I really worked on was flat out getting up, and I'd have to say some days it was hard enough to make me cry, and I could just to get up once was just it would make me cry out of joy and out of pain, and then to get to 5 times, I want that for you guys, to get up every single day, to not have to be in a wheelchair. So what I was doing was continually using the outside of my legs. You want to get them about the same width as your shoulders apart. Get your knees, your legs, and your knees completely underneath each other, and then you want to work on standing. So now that I've been working so hard, I'm actually able to get up into a standing position. and I am by far not bending my knees backwards. So that's something that's really, really important. You need to remember, keep your knees bent straight, straight in front of you. Don't let them bend backwards. It will create a lot of pain in the future. It also creates surgeries, and it inhibits the blood flow if you have postural orthostatic tachycardia, otherwise known as POTS. Now, I've been discussing what you do in front of a sink quite a bit. When it comes to your feet, it's wonderful that you have things like rugs, but it doesn't keep your knees bent. What I want to show you is just doing this is the simplest way of keeping your legs bent in a proper position. Seriously. So when you walk up to a sink, you're not going to walk up and have your legs straight across in front of you. You'll have them positioned, and if you have your shoulders up and backwards, it engages your stomach, and you're able to get a lot out of the movement just standing. It gives you a workout, especially if you've been in a wheelchair. So when it comes to exercises, when I was talking about girly exercises, standing in front of a sink using that mat as your marker, and then using the outside of the sink as your marker for your hands, that's where you're going to want to push off. You're going to want to stand up, keep your elbows bent, keep everything, let's see if this works. Alright, keep your elbows bent and everything towards you. You don't want to have your arms outward. You don't want to have them clenched in. You don't want any of the abnormal movements. What you're really looking for is what's typical and normal on any of the exercising videos that you've seen. So keep your shoulders back. It will engage your stomach, so you want to pull your belly button in. I will show you my stomach because it's what I've had to work back from. This is crazy. I have unusual scarring going on. And when I talk about rubbing on your stomach, it's very gradual. It's not something that you're going to really be just shoving your hands into. It's something where you're going to be pushing and working with a physical therapist in order to do. Because at one time, I had 2 belly buttons, and now I just have a very long scar that needs to work itself out, and I still have a lot of work to do with it. So, and because I have EDS, the most stretchy part of my body is my stomach. So that's something that I do want to always keep track of. When it comes to exercising, and I was talking about the arms, sorry about that, and pivoting, you're going to pivot at the waist, just like what I'm doing right here, but with my phone. Do the top of you. Use your arms. Get your arms going. Get your arms out. Even start to work your arms completely out. It will greatly give you some muscle. It will give you muscle there. And if you really keep track of your shoulders, it will keep your stomach tight the entire time. So get some music on, get going with the rhythm, and work your stomach by using your arms, by walking around. As long as you are absolutely using the correct muscles, you can do this. You can do this. Work with a physical therapist, because you can get out of a wheelchair. There are a couple of other moves that I really want to show you that are more yoga based, and I don't really know how to do that with my phone. So I'm just going to get on the ground and show you. What you're going to want to do is, if you're at all familiar with yoga, is get a good, let's see if I can get some of the mirror in. Get your arms stretched all the way to the ceiling, and then go down. If you have POTS, this is something that I don't highly suggest doing, not until it's regulated and your heart can handle any type of up and down motion. Either way, all of this needs to be timed out with your breathing. So it's an inhale as your arms move up, exhale as you go down. As you go down, you don't want to go to a straight legs pose or an upward downward dog pose. Just basically get yourself stable on the ground so that you can start doing regular exercises that the rest of the world does. And one of those exercises that are really, really, really important is actually grounding one arm on, I don't know if you can see this, like right on the ground. And it's going to be equal with your legs. You want to keep it hip distance apart. And then outstretch your arm and outstretch the opposite leg as you are in this position on the ground. And just as you inhale, stretch your arm out and your leg out. Exhale, put them back down on the ground. Do that once or twice. It's just an excellent workout for your stomach. That's all you need. Start out small. Try just once. If you can't do it, just work up to it. You really don't need to jump onto these different exercises and get them right off the bat. I want you to work at these things slowly so that you can get to the point at which I am, where you can go for a walk for half an hour. I believe in you. I believe that if you really try, that's all that matters. So I'm going to get off the ground, and easy as that for me is basically kneeling. And I'm able to get up now because I've been using the same muscles that I was showing you. If you're familiar with Crescent pose, that is something that I do every day, and it greatly stretches out my stomach. I love it. I may be able to show you in the mirror what you're going to do. Is keep your arm very great. Arm stretched out. Your other arm will be stretched out behind you. Your legs, however, will be completely wonderful angle, such as this. You don't want to go over your toes with your knee and all when you're doing these kinds of stretches. So keep your arm out. Let's see. Bend your hand forward and then start to bend backwards towards the ceiling. You just keep kind of going and get a good stretch. It's wonderful on your stomach. And you don't have to do much. Do that on each side. And just love yourself for what you are and that you're trying. You will eventually get there. It takes time. None of this stuff comes easy. And so I really hope that what I was able to show you today are some poses that help and that you are able to get out of a wheelchair if you are in one, because it's not a life that anybody really wants to live. I love you, and you are not alone in this at all. So thank you so much for listening and for watching this. Thank you for listening and watching my other videos. I really send a lot of love out there.